All right, well, good morning, Placerville, and welcome to this special meeting of the Placerville City Council for Monday, December 14th. Will everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, good morning. Can we go ahead and do roll call, please?
Mayor Saragosa.
Here.
Vice Mayor Thomas.
Here.
Councilmember Borelli.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor. And Councilmember No.
Here.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving along. Any announcements or presentations to the public?
Nothing we're aware of, Mayor, from our end.
Okay, anything from the council? All right, moving on to the adoption of the agenda.
Move for adoption.
Second.
All right, first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to discussion items. And item 6.1, adopt a resolution approving construction contract change order number 1 with Doug Veerkamp General Engineering for the Mosquito Road Stabilization Clay Street to City Limits project in the amount not to exceed $91,000. Approve a budget appropriation in the amount of $91,000 from the Measure L Fund Construction Reserve and authorizing city manager to execute the same order. And I believe Ms. Neves has this for us this morning.
Good morning. It's, nice to see all your bright and sunny faces. Thanks for making the time in your busy schedules. I really, really appreciate it, especially with such short notice. And I also wanted to share the same praise and gratitude to Cleve and Dave too for letting this happen. So as you're aware, Council has awarded a construction paving contract, which includes Spring Street and Mosquito Road. They finished paving Spring Street literally 5:15 on Friday night. And, what normally would follow that was, great, when's Mosquito starting? So we looked at Mosquito. Actually, we started to look ahead to Mosquito on Wednesday, and then we actually started to really look at what was in the original contract and then kind of reconciling between another couple of other CIPs. So we have 2 other CIPs on Mosquito Road besides the paving contract. And I want to give a little bit of background on how we got here. So once upon a time, we had the Placerville Station Park and Ride project, which is, we have the second phase. Set to go out to bid this coming spring. And at the time that we had that project, we really did what we always do, and we tried to make do with what we had available to us. And what that meant was any bit of funding that we could come up with, that's what we used to repair the road, because we didn't have road money back then. So one of the items and features of the Placerville Station job included a 2-inch grind and overlay on Mosquito Road from Clay Street to basically the state right-of-way and partially in the state right-of-way. Then we got Measure L. The voters of Placerville spoke loud and clear that they wanted their roads and infrastructure fixed, and they voted in favor of Measure L. And one of the roads besides Spring Street that they listed that they really wanted fixed was Mosquito Road. So then we developed, at that time, 2 other projects for Mosquito Road. There was the Mosquito Road Stabilization Project, and then there was the Mosquito Road Overlay Project. Now, this Mosquito Road Overlay Project was supposed to supplement the Placerville Station project. I just went back through and found the CIP description for it. And then the Mosquito Road paving contract, which is CIP 41819, that is what's part of the construction contract that Veerkamp now has. So in looking at paving and trying to get it buttoned up, we are in December. Inclement weather is on its way, and it's going to be pretty consistent here in the near future. And so We have one last shot at getting after Mosquito Road before the winter shuts down. We would have loved to have done all of Mosquito Road. So I do want to back up a little bit. The Mosquito Road portion that's under contract goes from Clay Street to city limits. That portion to complete that work is about 3 weeks. So in order for us to schedule that work, we'd have to have about 4-week window of clear weather. That also happens to be a portion of Mosquito Road that's actually received trench paving. You know, you don't want to leave trench paving or, cold patch paving over trenches for too long a time, because what ends up happening is it ends up unraveling for you, and it ends up introducing some weakened planes in the road. Not that Mosquito already isn't weakened, but it just is not a permanent fix. It's always meant to be temporary. So we've done the utility work. They finished Thursday night. And so here we have an opportunity looking ahead to this next week where we could potentially get it done. And so rather than be, okay, we can do this and then wait for, the next council meeting, we wanted to see if there was an opportunity if we could get it done sooner rather than later. We wanted to hold our commitment to the public to work on this segment of road, to work on Mosquito Road. We haven't been able to get after it with the amount of clear days that we need lately. So this was an opportunity for us to do that work. The other part is in Placerville Station and reviewing the plans and everything as we're moving towards getting them ready for bid. One thing that we were made aware of was basically that the Placerville Station project that had a portion of Mosquito Road grind and overlay did not include sub-base reconstruction. So right now, as it stands, the segment from Clay Street to State right-of-way is basically 2 inches of failed asphalt on native. There is no base. And that was a gap in the improvements between 41819, which is the construction contract of Spring and Mosquito, and Placerville Station, which isn't out to bid yet. The gap between the two was intended to be the Mosquito Road project 41820. Through just kind of delivering on CIPs, we realized, we have this gap here that we need to bridge. So then that's when we looked at what we could do for that segment of Mosquito Road. We have really good bid prices on Spring and Mosquito. And we have a potential window in this next week with, weather. So we wanted to look at getting that done. And that kind of covers the bulk of it. But I know that you guys have a lot of questions, especially with this coming up so quickly. So I'll defer to you. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. Questions for Ms. Neves at this point? Yes, Councilmember Borelli.
I don't have any questions. I just have a comment. I drove up there just because, again, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think it's worse than it was 2 weeks ago. But anyway, I certainly see the need, and I think everybody will just benefit from, if that's all we can get done. I think this is a really great idea to do this now.
And if I could supplement that, actually, thank you, Councilmember Borelli. You reminded me of a point I did want to make. So one of the other things too is we were looking at doing trench paving this next week. And we looked at it, we said, we don't need to do trench paving, we need actual paving. So I just talked to Corey. The estimated deduction for not doing the trench paving is about $10,000 to $15,000. So, although we're approving a change order for $91,000, the net is going to be $10,000 to $15,000 less than that.
Okay. Yes, Councilmember Taylor.
I just have a logistical question. So I grew up on the East Coast where we don't ever have 4 weeks of rain. So how do you forecast that far out? I mean, how do we ever know when we have 4 weeks of a break in weather?
Well, you may recall even last week we had rain, I think, forecasted on Wednesday. And, we were a little nervous, but, we saw the opportunity and I like to call it the pedal to the metal on the yellow light methodology. So when we have it, we just have to go for it, As far as having the 4-week forecasted, really, that's why, you have your construction general permit, which kind of puts you in this category from like April to October. But, if you have good temps and you have clear weather, there's really nothing to preclude you from doing that work. And then that's when you start getting creative with your staging and your sequencing. So one option is to pave, the northbound lane and get it done. And then if we have, rain, fine. We wait, we let it rain. We have the bad part, we have the good part. It stops raining the next day. We pull up the bad part and pave that. And then we have it there. And then the road seam actually ends up falling right on the center line, which you usually can just cover up with the thermoplastic striping. So it actually kind of seals the seam too, which is pretty nice. It's a Caltrans paving trick. That's why they always make their grind and overlays and their seams on lane lines. So.
Okay. And then are you expecting that this Clay Street to city limits section we won't kind of attempt that until April?
I think that we might get a good break maybe in like the end of February. We kind of hit and miss on some of our inclement weather. I've been, working for the city 6 years now. I've been a resident for almost 2 decades, and it's been interesting watching some of the weather patterns. But as far as when we could actually go, I don't have, that information. That's part of the reason why, if we do have a chance to do this part now, which is the worst part, do it now. Okay. So that was the thought process for that.
All right, thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So this is not going out to bid.
Correct.
And we are, I guess the question is, we are able to, I want to make sure that we're able to do this and we're in good standing with not going out to bid, and that it seems like it's part of a project that should have gone out to bid. And now we're adding it to this, we're adding it kind of onto this project, but it's almost a project unto itself because it's not connected. I just want to make sure we're in a good place to do this and not have it bidded out.
Absolutely. So great question. So the rules that you're actually referring to is Public Contract Code Section 2137, where it states that change orders should not exceed 10% the original contract price. The board may authorize, or in this case, I see City Attorney Driscoll. Board may authorize the contractor to proceed with the change or alteration without the formality of obtaining bids therefore. So the total contract amount is 1.2 and some change. That's the actual contract amount. That's what Veerkamp has signed. That's what city manager has signed. And so that's the executed contract. So we're well within the 10% value. The other part is just below that, the bottom of the section of 2137 is no change or alteration shall be authorized, the amount of which is within the limitation specified in subdivision B, which is the section I just read, and in excess of the limitation specified in subdivision A, except by 4/5 vote of the board or council. So that's where the law, pretty much it clearly defines and states things. We are not far from straying to have this work added. It's in like kind work. It's not a change in scope. It's paving. So it's exactly what they're doing on the other segment. So if we were changing the scope, there would actually be contractual issues that we would have to address in terms of defining the scope and providing adequate plans and specs if we had to change the scope. And what I mean by that is having a paving contract and then building a bus shelter. So does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm curious, John's Attorney Driscoll.
Well, my legal assistant answered your question very well.
Perfect.
So she hit it right on the head. That's exactly the 10% and the section she cited are why we can do this without having to go to bid.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Driscoll has trained me well.
I think it's important that we stay within those those guardrails, and I don't know what those are, so I'm glad that you shared that with me as well. So thank you.
Okay, Rebecca, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to remember back to the conversations on this segment of mosquito, but I thought we were doing some not change. I won't say changes, but kind of that the pattern of traffic was going to change a little bit through there. And I think a crosswalk or something else as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are those features still part of this, or is that something that's going to happen at a later time?
Okay, so here's what we came up with, and I'm excited about this actually, as you can tell. So the gap in having the sub-base taken care of actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because we're putting back the exact same section that we just put up on Spring Street. So which is 3.5 inches of asphalt on 6 inches of base, so a 9.5 inch section. Now, the section that we actually need for Mosquito Road is about 11 inches. It's about 2 inches on top of what we're doing. So 5.5 on 6. So the improvements with Placerville Station, we've been, we've been awarded CMAQ money by El Dorado Transportation Commission. Thank you, Commission. They, they gave us some money to redo the bike path, the class 1 that's there. It's substandard. The crosswalk, the crossing itself is substandard. We're adding rapid flashing beacons as well as some high vis crosswalks. There's numerous ATP, active transportation benefits associated with the Placerville Station 2 project. But there wasn't a whole lot of roadway project because it really wasn't intended as a design to be a roadway job. It was always meant to be this park and ride job that had some supplemental bike and ped features, right? So when we do this section rebuild of the 3.5 on 6, we're leaving it intentionally, we're leaving it about 2 inches low. And when we do the Placerville Station job, we will then come back and do the 2 inch overlay as it was intended. What that gets us is the full roadway section that we need to support the El Dorado Transit buses, the Amtrak buses that are coming to Placerville Station, as well as a multitude of other traffic, impacts. One thing I do want to keep on the council's radar is El Dorado County has been granted funding through the Highway Bridge Program to rebuild the Mosquito Road Bridge. I've looked at the quantities as far as concrete and steel going out there. There's going to be a lot of heavy trucks using Mosquito during construction. So we're basically kind of building up for that section. We will, once we get done with Mosquito Road, full disclosure, we will document the condition of Mosquito Road. And we will politely ask our county brothers and sisters, please don't break our brand new road. And if you break it, if you could please fix it, that would be great. Because that road is the one outlet in and one inlet, one outlet to the bridge project. Did that answer your question?
Rebecca, if I could, I think the mayor was referring to, let me help out here. As I recall too, wasn't there a slight realignment of Mosquito Road at where the interchange comes off?
A little bit, but that segment stays pretty well in line. The shift in alignment actually comes from the improvements that are on the west side of Mosquito Road, right where the trail is. So the other part of it is we realign that portion or that half of the road. When we get everything set, we get the concrete poured, that 2 inch overlay seals any kind of paving seam or paving joint too. But as far as the realignment, it's not realigned excessively in that area. We are going with smaller lanes like what we typically do though.
And was there going to be, I'm trying to remember, like, was there a stop sign or something different with the way the traffic comes off the freeway? And then I'm trying to remember, I thought there was some other safety feature in there. Jackie, or Councilmember, no.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about because I'm really familiar. I move there a lot. And we're actually eliminating the crosswalk right where the ramp comes off. And then in order to access the cemetery that's there, we're going to use the crosswalk at the regular trail crossing and then use the sidewalks down just as a safety feature. If you've ever tried to walk that crosswalk, it's not a good idea.
Truth.
Yes.
And we're improving the sidewalk so you have a path of travel from that crosswalk down to the center.
Correct. Yeah. So, we're improving the class 1 trail on the west side, and folks who want to get over to that area, they would go up to the crosswalk, which will have a high vis crosswalk and rapid flashing beacon, similar to what we have on Broadway, and allow for a safer crossing there. Folks come flying off, and that would and what Mayor Saragosa might be recalling is the item that we actually brought to council some months ago, which was the elimination of that crosswalk. Caltrans required us to have a resolution to remove the crosswalk because for whatever reason, even though the crosswalk was actually 100% in city right of way, and we were telling them it's unsafe, they felt that they needed that one extra step measure. And we said, gladly. So
Gotcha. And so, and then those features will be part of 2.2
Placerville
for-
Station, yeah.
for Placerville Station. Okay, gotcha.
I know we just keep adding twos on projects. Sorry, they get confusing.
No problem. Councilmember Borelli.
Rebecca, it seems to me that we've got the same situation in approaching that corner to get on the on-ramp on, as you're coming off of Main Street or Upper Broadway,
Mhm.
Lower Broadway. And you, as you go under the underpass and you round that curve, it's kind of that same blind corner situation like we had up here on Spring Street. Are you, and I know that's probably a Caltrans, maybe right away, and maybe we can't do anything about it, but I was wondering if you had any plans to do kind of the same thing that you're doing with Spring Street to kind of warn people or help them negotiate that, trying to go where you come under the underpass and then try to get on Mosquito Road. It's sometimes pretty dangerous.
Yeah, so we can make some adjustments in the striping as part of Placerville Station 2. So Placerville Station 2 actually has an encroachment permit with Caltrans. And we actually did an extension of that encroachment permit to abandon the segment of water main that our utility contract just finished up. But there is some room to do that. I can't, because it's state right of way, and specifically that it is the access control for an on-off ramp. There's limited capacity to what the city can essentially do because of the geometrics are actually dictated by the highway versus the local road, even though we own the road. It's a whole different issue. So
I understand. It's just that
yeah.
I know there's been accidents there, and
Yes.
it's just because of the way the people come off Highway 50, pell-mell, and then you think it's the site is so short, you really can't. And as you're trying to, exit onto Mosquito, it's pretty, I don't know. I just wondered if there was any signage or, anything we could do.
We can certainly add signage, and that was part of right there. Exactly what you talked about was one of the paramount reasons why we pulled that crosswalk out right there that Councilmember
Right.
referred to.
Right.
So,
okay, thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Any other questions or comments at this point? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and open it up for public comment.
Thank you,
Automatic
Mayor.
lights,
Now taking public comments on item 6.1, Sue Rodman, go ahead and.
Good morning, Sue. So used to saying evening.
I was glad I got the announcement that this was going to be at 9 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock, so I could join in. But my comments would be, please, let's do this. This is a major H&L partially funded project, and it's been a long time coming. So now that the underground utilities are done, there's a chance to just add some funding to finish it up without another winter storm making it even worse. Our city's engineering team has, again, proven to be on their toes for getting the best value for Measure L dollars. Let's hope for a break in the weather to permit the funding, the paving to happen. So let's go. That's my comment.
Thank you, Sue.
Does not appear we have any other comments, Mayor.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment, bring it back to the council. I'll just say, I think I want to thank our city engineer for bringing this forward. I wasn't certain that we would get to Mosquito with, unfortunately we had a couple of pipes break on Spring that, I think made that project go a little bit longer than we had anticipated. But I like the fact that we are going to be able to hopefully move this forward for the residents that live off of Mosquito. And I think we'll all pray that we get that February break so that maybe we can get some more work done on the rest of, from Clay to city limits on the rest of Mosquito. But I'm excited to see this happen. This is sort of the worst part of it. And then, we'll see those additional safety features as we move forward with the rest of the projects along Mosquito. So thank you for that.
Mayor, could I add before, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilmember.
Oh, nope, go right ahead, please. I was going to.
I just want to mention, maybe ask Rebecca, it does appear we have a storm coming in Wednesday night into Thursday. Will that, which is be right in the middle of what we hope to get this done, will that interfere or cause us issues?
So I'm talking strategy with Mr. Veerkamp this morning. And, we are going to make a way to figure it out. The storm appears to be isolated to about a 24-hour segment right now.
Mhm.
And, I'm also going to do my part and talk to the guy that's always in charge of the rain. So, we'll see how this goes. And
Good luck.
I just want that to come out, that could create an issue for us, but we'll do the best we
if
can.
any of you feel like talking to the guy that's in charge of the rain, by all means, feel free.
Thank you. And I saw, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Oh, I was going to move that we approve the construction contract change order number 1 with Doug Veerkamp.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a first and a second, and I know I saw Councilmember Taylor, I think, had
I
some
was-
comments. You were going to make it a motion? Okay. All right. Okay, so we have a first and a second. Any further comments at this point? All right, seeing none, roll call, please. Oh, you're on mute still, Cleve.
Mayor Saragosa,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Thomas,
Aye.
Councilmember Borelli,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Councilmember No.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
go
you.
speak with Mr. Veerkamp. Let's get this done. We'll all speak to the man about the weather as well to see what we can do to get us some good weather for the rest of this week.
So
Sounds
this
good.
is kind of ironic. We've been praying for rain and now we're going to ask him not to give it. So,
We're just asking for divine delay is all.
okay.
That's it.
Right. Could pour on Sunday.
Yeah, or on Sunday. We need a day off on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments by anybody? All right. Well, again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate on the quick notice, Cleve, John, Rebecca, for getting this put together over the weekend so we can move forward with this project starting tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. And at 9:26, I will adjourn this special meeting of the Placerville City Council. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.